What's up, everybody? Welcome in. William Oliver here. And today we're going to be talking about how to eat, how to train, and how to think. More specifically, I want to go over the glycemic index, what it is, and how you can navigate it. I also want to go over the importance of why you need to fuel up for leg day. And then when it comes to how to think, I want you to think about these three things that you can do to increase your personal success rate. So let's go ahead and get right into this thing. Now, when it comes to how to eat, the first thing I talked about was the glycemic index. So what is the glycemic index? Now, this is something that's used to measure how much a specific type of food is going to increase your blood levels, your blood sugar levels, excuse me. Now, we want to make sure that blood sugar is not spiking because that is going to put an impact on our pancreas, which, if you know diabetes, once the pancreas can no longer put insulin into the bloodstream to help lower those blood sugar levels, it's going to become overworked just like any other engine out there, and it's going to die. That's where the extra, when you're taking diabetic supplements, when you're taking those shots, what you're actually doing is putting insulin into the bloodstream to help lower that blood sugar. But you can actually do a lot of that stuff with your nutrition. Many times you'll hear people actually reverse their diabetes because they change to a healthier lifestyle. So the glycemic index itself goes from low, medium to high, and normally foods are rated or judged from 0 to 100. So when you see something that's anywhere from 0 to 20, 0 to 30, that's going to be considered low. That 30 to 50 range, 30 to 60 is going to be considered medium. And then anything above 60 is going to be considered high. You want your foods to be in that low to medium range. Now, high glycemic foods are not a major problem, mainly because we have to look at this in moderation. Now, if you're eating a ton of these type of foods, then yes, it's a problem. But if you're moderating, you can include some of these foods in your diet and not have any problems. So I took a quick list right here of some examples of low and some examples of high. Now, a couple examples of a low glycemic, something that's low on the glycemic index: green vegetables, most fruits, carrots, kidney beans, chickpeas, lentils, such like that. On the higher end of things, you have much more processed foods. So bread, breakfast cereals, breakfast bars, cakes, cookies, a bunch of those sweets, even white rice, potatoes, and think of everything that comes with potatoes. So potatoes can also be turned to potato chips, French fries, any of those type of things, mashed potatoes, all of that's going to be high up on that rating. Yogurts, fruit yogurts, sweet yogurts, and then watermelon and pineapple. Now, again, what we say is foods that are high on the glycemic index, it's not necessarily bad for you. It just needs to be taken and eaten in moderation. And you'll see that most of the fruits are actually low on the glycemic index, but even if they are high, it's not a dramatic problem because there's such a high amount of fiber. What that fiber is going to do is it's going to actually slow the digestion of those simple carbohydrates coming from those fruits. In other words, moderating how it goes into the bloodstream, and it's not just this Russian onset. So I like to use fruit as my pre-workout because many times that onset of energy, that onset of sugar actually is going to give me more energy, and then I use that in the workout. But if you're taking in a whole bunch of fruit, a whole bunch of sugar, and you're not using it, then it's going to sit in that bloodstream, and then that's going to become an issue. So make sure that if you are taking in these fruits, it's with moderation, and that you're also putting in a bunch of leafy green vegetables. Some of the other foods we mentioned, like kidney beans, chickpeas, lentils, a lot of that stuff is going to help lower that blood sugar. So let's move on to how to train. Now, today we're going to be talking about leg day, one of my favorite days of the week. I hit it twice, and why you need to fuel up for legs. Now, we always talk about you do need to fuel up for your food, especially if you're trying to build muscle. So that's where your nutrition comes in, making sure that you're having a good amount of protein in your meals, but more importantly, making sure that you have those carbohydrates or fat, if it's your fuel source, to make sure you have enough power to get through your workout. Me personally, I like to use glycogen and carbohydrates for my fuel source. So I make sure that I'm going to get majority of my carbohydrates pre and post workout. Now, of course, when your workout is in the day, that changes what that's going to be. But for me, I work out around between 10 and 11. I start between 10 and 11 every day. So I'm making sure that my 2 meals prior to that have enough carbohydrates to make sure I have fuel for the workout. But why would you need more fuel for a leg day? Now, first of all, think about it. Most of the muscles in your body are actually in your legs, especially the largest muscles. Now, you do have your lats, which is a really big muscle of your back. The thing is, even though you're working legs, many times the lat will still be engaged. Many times the core will be engaged. And if you're holding weight or holding a bar or something, upper body is still engaged. So that means when you're working legs, there's a really good chance you're actually working your entire body. Now, if you sit on a machine and do the leg extensions and the leg curls and the opens in and outs, and that's all you do, then it's a little bit different. But if you're actually doing compound movements, which are better for majority of people, we're talking squats, lunges, hinges, or deadlifts, anything that's using multiple joints and multiple muscles at the same time is going to use more fuel. And a leg day naturally is going to use more than one muscle and more than one joint. So you're going to need to fuel all of that. It's also been said that working leg day will help boost your testosterone because there's so much production that needs to go on in those muscles. But for everyone, instead of just talking about testosterone, let's just talk about energy consumption and fuel source. You're going to need much more fuel because you're going to burn off a lot more energy working those legs. I personally like to split my leg day up into 2 days of the week. One day is a quadricep focused day, and one day is a hamstring focused day. So I know that on those 2 days of the week, if you've ever heard of carb cycling, maybe one day we'll go over carb cycling with how to eat. But I make sure that the majority of my carbohydrates are on my heaviest and biggest muscle days. So that for me is going to be my back and my legs. Because when I do a hamstring day, a lot of the work I'm doing is posterior to the body. So that means a lot of my back is involved, even when I'm doing a quad day. So I really got to make sure I'm getting enough fuel to make sure I can get through the workout, but then also recover from the workout. So I'm fueling up pre-workout and I'm putting in carbohydrates post-workout to make sure I'm getting some glycogen back into the muscle. Very, very important. So real quick on carb cycling, if you were to carb cycle, meaning certain days of the week you're having a low amount of carbs, certain days of the week you're having a high amount of carbs, if you're working with this type of program, you want to have your higher carbs on your leg days and your back day. Your chest and shoulder days or arm days, those can be your limited carb days because you're not going to need as much fuel for that workout. Now, of course, if you're trying to trim, if you're trying to bulk, things are a little bit different. But if you're just trying to maintain where you're at, it's very important to understand how much fuel is going in, how you use it, and what it is you need to do for the rest of the meals of the day to make sure that you actually get the most of that muscle. The last thing you want to do is put in this huge, crazy workout on these big muscles and then not fuel the recovery process. You're going to be sore for days. So let's make sure that we're getting in enough fuel, not only to do the leg workout, but also recover from the leg workout. And then lastly, let's talk about how to think. Now, I want to give you 3 tips that are going to help you become more successful than you are right now. And it's going to take some work. So the first one is I want you to think about your knowledge. What it is that you know right now won't produce a new result. So in other words, the knowledge that you have currently will keep you where you are right now. If you want to actually reach and grow, you're going to have to learn the methods and techniques that will help get you there. So again, knowledge, you need to increase that knowledge. Number 2, you need to increase your skill. So before was the things you know. Now the things that you currently do will not progress you to a more successful position because that is all that you currently do. You're going to need to, again, learn, increase your knowledge, and bring on a couple new skill sets, or maybe a couple better, more improved skill sets that you're used to doing to help get you to that new place. So far, we have to learn some new techniques to get you there. And then we have to master those new techniques to get there. And then third is your attitude. The outlook that you currently have on life or your business or your relationships, whatever it is, your current outlook is not going to produce you new results. Meaning you're going to have to switch the way that you're thinking in order to attain these results. So think about it. This is a lot of cognitive adjustments and improvements that you're going to have to make in order to get yourself to that new successful position. We're going to have to work on the knowledge that you have. Again, the things that you currently know will not get you to that new level. You got to learn something new. Skills. The skills you currently have and do will not get you to that new level because if it was going to, you'd already be there. So you're going to have to either refine the current skills or learn some new skills. And then third, your attitude. Where you are currently at attitude-wise and how you are looking out onto the world and taking things in, how you're reacting to things that happen in your environment is not going to adjust and keep you where you're or get you somewhere else. It's going to keep you where you are. Meaning you need to get into some books, you need to get into some podcasts, you need to get into some mentorship, something that's going to help you, as I've said in some of these videos before, identify as that successful person and start doing the things that you're going to need to do now in order to be successful in the future. So think about it. What is that successful version of yourself doing every single day? And think about how you can start implementing those habits into your daily day now. So knowledge, skill, attitude. To me, what it sounds like is that you need to adjust your circle of influence. Think about the top 5 people around you. Wherever they are, financially, emotionally, physically, you will likely be very close. I remember for me, before I got around the people I've been around for about the last year, I've always been a business owner, always been an entrepreneur, but I always did have a cap, mainly because of the people that I had around me. Everybody thought I was doing so good. Everybody thought I was doing so well. And I thought that too, which is great. But it wasn't until I got around about 3 to 5 other people who were ultimately multiplying my efforts like crazy when it came to what I was making, when it came to the way that they were thinking. And I mean, I just happened to have a one-up on them when it came to my physical body. But again, what can your physique do if it's not helping you take care of the other areas of life? The reason that we want to focus on getting healthy is so that we can make sharper and clearer decisions when it comes to business and life, not just look good in the front of the mirror. So I actually was able to help them while they were able to help me. But what happened was my knowledge dramatically increased. I'll tell you, for me, over the last year, what I learned the most was how to market myself online, internet marketing, how to become a better marketer. I definitely have not perfected it, but I can tell you from when I started, it is a dramatic difference. Same thing happened with my business, a dramatic difference. When it comes to skill set, I had to really learn much more of a skill. I had to refine how I communicate to people in person, but then also how I communicate to literally a camera in front of me. And I'm so used to communicating and contacting with a person. Here, I have to just speak and then kind of wait for your responses online in the comment section and then messages that I get as well. So it's a little bit different for me. And then when it comes to my attitude, I had to really become patient, but also not too patient. I've spoke on delayed gratification for a long time, and I love delayed gratification. I have no problem with it because I know what's coming in the future. I'm not just going to go out here living frivolously just because I want to, or I want to look good, or I want to post up and stunt for the gram or something. That's not me. It's never been me. Maybe because I got into a business when I was 19. I always understood delayed gratification, but there is a point where you are too patient. So you want to find that patience, and then you also want to have that go get them, so you want to kind of find yourself right in the middle, not too patient, but then also patient, because things do take time. But at the same time, if you're too patient, you could stretch that time out. And all it took was just getting around some more people to increase your knowledge and increase your skill set. And again, adjust that mindset a little bit so that you can rock and crush whatever it is that you're trying to do. The challenge here for you is to make sure that you're on point. So how do you know you're on point if you're the only one looking at you and you're the only one doing checks and balances? You need to have a circle around you, a circle of influence that has your best interest in mind. Now, of course, their business is their main focus. The group that I'm a part of, their business is their main focus. But because I add value to their lives, they want to add value to mine. When you find yourself in a circle where everybody wants each person to grow, then you grow. But if you're in a circle where, they talk about crabs in a bucket, if you're in a circle where you're the most successful person in your group, chances are these individuals can't help you become more successful. There should never be a point where you feel like you've reached the top. Once you reach your top, then you got to get around people who have just been playing around on that rooftop for years. And they're like, hey, why don't you come up top to the real mezzanine? Why don't you come up to the skybox? Now we can show you what success is. And guess what? The only reason they're there is because they're still trying to grow even more. It doesn't mean that you're trying to go after all this money or success or fame or anything like that. You're specifically looking to give yourself and your family options to do whatever it is that you like in life, especially when finances are not a problem. Now, we're talking about fitness as well with this. When it comes now, let's like kind of move this thing to fitness. The knowledge, you need to learn what it is that you're eating and how it affects the physique of your body. Your skill set, you need to learn what movements and what patterns and what programming is going to do best for what you need specifically. Maybe you want to lose weight, but maybe you have a shoulder or a knee issue as well. All of this should be addressed. So you have to learn the certain skills that are going to help you perfect that. And then last one with the attitude, this is not a race and it's not going to happen fast. Everyone thinks, okay, I'm going to get on this diet fad, I'm going to lose all this weight and I'm good forever. But how many people have lost a ton of weight in 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and then 2 years later, it's all back, right? I could teach you how to just shed all the weight out of nowhere, but is it going to be sustainable? There are ways to build a ton of muscle in 3 to 6 months, but is it sustainable? Is your body going to be in a healthy position at the end of this? And how about 5 years down the road? So many people have told me, and at this point accused me of taking steroids, but so many people have told me, you should have taken steroids, you should do this, you do that, be faster. And it's like, that's not my goal. You know, my goal is to build the best version of myself. I wanted to have a little bit better posture. I wanted to have more muscle in my frame. I built it. And no one can say that I didn't, because deep down, I know I worked my ass off for it. I didn't take no extra supplements to get me there quick. Not that that just gets it to you. Like, you still have to work hard. But my attitude was thinking, I'm looking for the result 5 years down the road. When I started for my show in 2018, my show was 4 months away. So I just basically cut down to get as lean as I could to look good on stage. But right after that show, I started building muscle. And my goal was not to come back as this crazy bodybuilder the next year. I thought, I'm not going to step on stage for 5 years. I'm going to build as much as I can. I'm going to focus on my business. I'm going to focus on my output into this world. Who knows what's going to, and who knew? There's no way I could have even guessed what happened in the last 3 to 4 years. Things have been crazy. Environments have been crazy. So I want to work on my attitude and my response to my environment instead of being so emotionally ripped apart when something happens that has nothing to do with me. So I'm going to cut it there because I love getting into this stuff. But again, the 3 things that you need to do to increase your success rate: you need to work on your knowledge, you need to work on your skill, and you need to work on your attitude. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember how to eat, how to train, and how to think. Rewind this if you need to go ahead and check out some of those things again. I got a bunch of stuff up on YouTube, and I will be back every Monday posting this real quick, tackling different topics that I hear every single week as people get started in my program. Thanks for paying attention. I enjoy the process, and I hope that you are enjoying the process, not only getting in shape, but being successful in life. So I'll talk to you soon. Enjoy the day. Enjoy the month. Get out there and crush it. I'll talk to you soon.